Hey everybody, slightly late tuning in today, but it's Jailbreak Overlander's fault. We're finishing putting his truck back together so he can get on his way back up to Boston. So yeah, just like normal, no real plan for anything. Just whatever you guys want to chat about, just let me know. Oh, it was a long day today. Richie, Jailbreak Overlander from up in Boston, just got back from Moab and needed rear output transfer case bearings put in. So we've been messing with that all day, trying to get him back on the road so he didn't sleep in our parking lot again. So yeah, just buttoned that up, and now we're in here. Yeah, going well. Just finished putting a transfer case back together after doing rear output bearings. Uh, so yeah, a little bit worn out, and I shouldn't be worn out because Crash is the one that actually hefted it back into the truck. But yeah, it was a good day, and we got around to shooting a shop tour video for you, which we ended up shooting twice because the first time I forgot to take the camera out of manual mode, and it was way underexposed. Oh, I'm ready for a nap. No. Yeah, the transfer case wasn't fun. For some reason, this one really fought me. Usually, once they're out, it's easy to get the bearings out of them, but it just took me all afternoon to get the output bearings out. Nothing wanted to cooperate. Usually they'll put plastic hammer action and they pop right out, but not these. Yeah, I can't take a nap. I got to go home and cook dinner and do home things. So no nap yet. I'll just sleep in tomorrow. As long as Crash is here on time, it's all good. That's cool. Yeah, I need to get a rig that I can just drive on the street and actually take camping. I miss just going out and finding, just fire road trails that you can camp off of. Um, my buddy built a camper conversion thing out of like an '87 Toyota pickup, and he just did like a 1,300-mile round trip. Went from Virginia up to Vermont, and then back down to Southern Virginia, and then back up to where we are. Um, and camped all along the way. And yeah, I need to get back to where I can do that. Let's see, axle rebuild. The knuckle rebuild on a 62 would be the same as the 40 series one that we've done. And the axle differential rebuild would be the 9.5 that we've got a video for. Um, we've got two FJ62s here. One of them, I think we're just doing suspension on, and the other one is a donor rig. We're pulling the 3FE out of it and putting it in a 5-speed in an FJ40. So I'll probably do a transfer case rebuild video when I move the transfer case from the 62 to the back of the 5-speed. Yeah, we don't get a ton of 62s through. Uh, Mostly lately, it's just been for exhaust work um, and knuckle rebuilds, tons of knuckle rebuilds. But yeah, that's about all we see 62s for. Where we're at, Rust has taken most of them off the street. Yeah, we had one towed in today. That's basically the parts truck for the 40, and man, the body on it is rough. There's probably not a panel on it that doesn't have rust in it. Yeah, we have way too much rust around here. Um, we're not even super far north, but they just any time it might even just flurry, they salt the roads. Yeah, water pump on an FJ62 is not a fun job. That little hose on the side is a lot of fun to get that one and the big hose and everything lined up as you slide the water pump back in. I'm not a fan of that job. Yeah, I can't imagine Minnesota or anywhere up north of here. It's got to be just horrible dealing with the rust. I lived in Boston for a couple of years and did collision body repair up there. And man, some of the rotten vehicles that came through, there wasn't a whole lot left of them. Yeah, I've got a couple of customers that their 80s do not come out of the garage in the winter. One of them sprays everything underneath down with fluid film, uh, just in case he has to take it out. Um, and yeah, the fluid film and not driving in the winter seems to be doing a pretty good job of keeping his rust free. But I brought my fluid film is the lanolin based rust treatment. Smells terrible, but it seems to work. Um, I brought my Forerunner up from Texas, and it was rust free. And after like a winter here, the quarter panels had holes in them. And wow, all the way from Brazil. That's quite a hike. I haven't made it down to Brazil yet. That's on our list of places to visit. Yeah, I we did a hiking trip through Arizona a couple of years ago, and it was amazing how nice the cruisers were that we ran across. Thailand is also on the list of places to go. Um, yeah, we want to get over to that side of the world. I want to hit Thailand, Cambodia. Um, my wife's got friends in India, so we could stay with them if we went out that way. Uh, I need to add more continents to my list. So far, we've just got Europe, North and South America. I know nothing about Brazilian politics. um, yeah, I enjoy the food. When we lived outside of Boston. The neighborhood we lived in was Brazilian, and man, they had good food. I don't know. I like Indian food, and I think some of the old temples would be cool to see. But yeah, Thailand is high on the list. It's just dealing with the airplane ride and the cost of getting there, and then taking that much time off of work. South America is easy. It's a pretty quick plane ride. I just discovered Indian food this past year, um, and yeah, I've been eating a lot of it. Yeah, I need to hit Australia too, but again, that's a really long plane ride, and I don't like flying. Yeah, and I've heard Thailand has super awesome beaches. I had a friend that went a couple of years ago, and she went like backpacked all around Thailand, and I want to say Vietnam, uh, and really enjoyed it. super cheap food is one of the benefits for Central and South America too. You can eat dinner for two for like $3, and it's good. How's Thailand for vegetarian options? We've been fine South and Central America, but weirdly enough, Europe seems to be sometimes hard to find vegetarian stuff, especially when we went to Budapest. Everything had meat in it. Awesome. So we'll move Thailand up on the list. I'm gonna have to convince my wife. Yeah, Rio would be good too. The furthest south I've been is Cusco in Peru. We've got a friend in Chile that we've talked about going to stay with, but we haven't made it that far down yet. We were in Colombia, I guess about a year ago, and it was the same thing. It was cops with shotguns. They had awesome stainless shotguns everywhere. I've been to New Jersey quite a few times. We go up to New York to see shows about once a year, um, and one of my wife's, well, I guess it's both of our friends now, used to live in Jersey City, so we would stay with him and just take the little shuttle bus over to New York City instead of paying New York City prices for somewhere to stay. Jersey's a little sketchy, but not bad. It seems like rebuilding cruisers is a never-ending process. Um, at least that's the way it is with my junk. You build it, take it out, break it, and then build it, build it, build it. It's gotten a lot cheaper since I haven't wheeled in like 10 years. Um, really increases the budget. Yeah, it's definitely, people think that they're tanks and they don't have to do anything to them, and they just drive and drive and drive, and people will buy them, used, and bring them in and like, hey, can you look it over? And you tell them, hey, it needs 3 grand in catch-up maintenance, and they're shocked. Uh, if you just slowly keep up with the maintenance, it would be a lot more manageable. But nobody ever does, so it's always huge chunks. And I'm gonna walk out to the shop real quick and check on Richie and Crash. I will be right back. Usually they're gone by now, but they're still working. Okay. Okay. Yeah. Okay. They're okay. Whoa, that's weird with the delay. I just watched myself come back in here. Yeah, I mean, 3 to 5 grand over 21 years isn't bad. It's when somebody just dropped 11 or 12 grand on a new to them truck, and then you tell them it needs 3 to 5 grand in repairs. They it kind of freaks them out. Yes, that would be Crash that just left. Uh, For some reason, Richie's still working on his own truck in the shop, but Crash is leaving. Well, I guess I should be out helping Richie too, but I'm going to come in here and chat with you guys instead. Richie can work on his own truck. Yeah, I've got a couple of customers that plan on being buried in their Land Cruisers. I have been following Joey's turbo offering. I had a customer that wanted me to build him a turbo setup for an 80, and I got as far as doing all the drawings for making the manifold when I saw Joey was prepping to do it, and why reinvent the wheel? We're just gonna wait until Joey's kit comes out from Wits End, because it would be the way he's doing it is way simpler than the way I was going to do it. I was going to do a whole manifold like Six Boost does, but I actually like his J-pipe idea better. Less custom parts and more serviceability. Yeah, I think a Turbo 80 series would be awesome. We've got a couple customers with superchargers, but I haven't driven the Turbo yet. The Turbo seems like it'd be really fun. Favorite heavy load rear springs for the 100? All I've actually dealt with on the 100s is Old Man Emu. So as far as favorites, that one would be it. I know there's more options out there, but that's the only one I actually have experience with. Larger exhaust system on the 62. We do an exhaust system for them at a stainless, and we do 2-inch downpipes into a single cat, and then 2.5-inch out from there. And it seems to like them. It wakes it up a little bit, and they sound good. I don't think I'd go anything bigger than 2.5-inch. Ooh, 23 window VW bus, that'd be cool. Lost my screen there for a minute. Yes, we do. Actually have 2 of them that I've got to build this week. I'm just waiting on oxygen sensor flanges. I got the latest batch of tubing, and cats are here. I'm waiting on the mufflers and O2 sensors to show up. Just a sec, and I will put in a link. Yeah, it's not a bad install. It takes me 2.5 weeks to get a set built. The shop's pretty small. We don't have much storage space, so we basically do a deposit on the exhaust, order all the materials, um, and then build them to order, and then either ship them out or install them. And you know why I don't offer the exhaust in plain steel, because it's Virginia and it rusts out, and it's not worth it doesn't save time. The time is the big part for building them. The materials going to plain steel isn't that much cheaper. And Rob B is my dad, so that's how come I can explain to him why we don't offer mild steel exhaust. Yeah, we'd been getting it bent locally in mild steel when we needed them done, but the shop that was doing them started charging more and more to do them and using cheaper and cheaper tubing, and it got to the point where I was like, man, I could build these out of stainless for what they're charging me for mild steel, bent tubing. Um, so we started doing the stainless ones. We don't sell a ton of them, but we do quite a few, or not quite a few, but one or two a month. 100 series diff drop brackets. Depends on how much you're lifting. It seems like inch and a half ish of lift, you can get away without needing them. Anything higher than that, the CVs start running at a steeper angle, so you're gonna wear the boots out faster. So anything over like inch and a half, 2 inches of lift, we do the diff drop brackets. Um, they're easy enough to put on, and they're relatively cheap, and it's a lot cheaper than replacing CVs all the time for being run at bad angles. And sweet, yeah, just let me know when you need some exhaust, and we'll get one put together. Yeah, if you're still running factory height suspension, you don't need the diff drop. It's just to compensate for when you've lifted them and you're changing the angle of the axle shafts. So yeah, no lift. You don't. There's no reason for the diff drop bracket. No problem. Cool. Have a good one, and thanks for tuning in. I like that. The only thing about our exhaust for both 62 and the 80, if you live someplace like California with strict emission standards, um, like the 62 exhaust, instead of having the two separate cats, I use a two into one cat inside the frame rail. So we sell them as off-road use only because technically they won't pass visual inspection um, for emission standards. But most people are looking for the tucked up tight and that not having that weird pipe that runs outside the frame rail. So we build them with a single cat inside the frame rail. And then the same thing on the 80 series exhaust. We keep the front down pipe, but we get rid of the second cat so we have room to jump up over the frame rail and tuck the exhaust up tighter. And I'm going to go check on Richie again. I will be right back. And Richie's still alive, so we're good. Yeah, that's what we've had several of them. We've had to replace the normal mild steel exhaust a couple of times since we decided to start doing stainless. Um, and they ended up being kind of on the expensive side, but you know until I figure out a way to hand build them faster, um, I can't really think of a way to make them cheaper. But they're fun to build. Um, and it's nice. They make a nice distraction from mechanicking every day. Yeah, we don't have like they've got emissions testing in a lot of Virginia, but we're far enough out in the country that they don't test in our county, which is nice. Whew, and I'm getting texts from my wife. She's at home cooking donuts, and she's sending me donut pictures. So I've got peanut butter glazed donuts waiting for me when I get home. And my dad decided to move his questions to texts. I need to come out to Arizona and just buy a bunch of cruisers and bring them back here. I think I could make a killing selling clean, rust-free trucks back here. Um, I've done an 80 series. I guess all of them I've done have been 80 series. I've done a couple of 80 series auxiliary tanks. Um, I haven't done a larger main tank yet, and I've got a 200 series auxiliary tank coming in sometime soon for install. Um, but yeah, advice: just double, triple check everything when you put it together, because a fuel leak is the last thing that you want. Um, and try to run the original tank empty before you take it out. Uh, gas is a lot heavier than you think. It seems like anytime anybody brings me a gas tank to work on, it's full. And lowering a full tank without spilling everything everywhere isn't fun. Yeah, the super awesome thing is I started a diet a week ago, and she made like they're like diet donuts. I'm not even sure how you do that, but they're healthy peanut butter glazed donuts. Um, so yeah, I'm super excited to get home and try those. It's been a long day today. Usually I go home for lunch and let the dogs out and feed them. But my wife worked from home today, so I didn't have to leave the shop. So I didn't leave the shop. So yeah, it's been a long day. So I'm ready to get home and eat donuts. Yeah, we stopped in Prescott, um, maybe 2 years ago when we were out there hiking. My wife did her undergrad there, um, and she's got a friend that owns a bookstore in town. So we stopped through there to visit some friends of hers that still lived in the area, and it was nice. If it wasn't so hot, I could definitely live in Arizona, but I hate the heat, so that's not going to work for me. And it's crazy that O'Reilly would stock OEM parts. None of the parts stores out here do. We've actually got to go to the dealer for OE parts. Hey, how's it going? Thanks. Yeah, we did one. I don't know when we very first started trying to do the YouTube thing, and I just did it with my cell phone, um, and it was not great. And Nigel, who I think signed off already, he was on last week and asked if we could do another one. And the shop was actually relatively clean. Uh, I guess it was yesterday we did it. Was relatively clean, so it's like, hey, now is a good time to shoot a shop tour. Uh, so we did that while we were in between moving projects in and out. Yeah, the press is the press is taking some getting used to. I really like it, but it's scary. It starts out real slow, but as soon as it hits resistance, it goes from no pressure to 50 tons of pressure really fast. And we just did a front suspension video on an 80 series, and I was being lazy and didn't want to go get a backup sleeve when I was doing the caster bushing, so I just put it against the arbor plate. And I was like, oh yeah, this will be fine. And as soon as it loaded up, it shot one of those 20-pound arbor plates like 15 feet across the shop. It was just super scary how much force that thing launched with. It gave me a whole new respect for it really fast. Um, and yeah, we're probably going to build a scatter shield for it, just in case I'm lazy again in the future. But I don't think the lesson of it shooting arbor plates at me will be forgotten anytime soon. But yeah, it's so much nicer. I've never had an electric press before. It's always been the pump, 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 pump on the handle, and that gets old when you're doing a lot of bearings or bushings or something. So it's so nice just to be able to turn it on and hit the switch. Yeah, I mean, and doing those caster bushings in a normal press can get really scary. And you can feel it loading up, as you're pumping. So you've got a little bit of warning. This thing, just loaded up fast. I mean, it was faster than I could release the handle. Um, so yeah, it was sketchy. Yeah, it's like around 17 minutes in the front suspension video where the things blow sideways. They're the new Slinky Springs. It's Slinky Springs, Icon shocks. I think the rear control arms and panhard bars were Blackhawk. They all came. The customer ordered it and sent it all as a set. We're just waiting on caster plates to show up now to finish it up. I finished wiring up his lockers yesterday morning. So as soon as we get the caster plates in, he's good to go. As far as what weight or stiffness the springs are, I don't know, because he did the order. I'm not sure if it's 4 or 5 inch. We measured before and after, and it's sitting a hair over 5 inches right now. I'm guessing it's going to settle some, so I would guess it'll land somewhere 4.5 inches. He doesn't have bumpers or anything else on it yet either, so it may be sitting a bit higher because of that. But yeah, the springs are super nice. They were more of a struggle to install than others, um, just because of the extra wraps of coils that make them the slinky. But yeah, they're nice. I've done one set before, and we've done a couple of Icon suspensions on 200 series, and I've been really happy with the way they drive. And I'll catch you later, Adam. And yeah, just let me know when you need the exhaust, and we'll get one. Long day. We'll get one put together for you. Yeah, the 200 series with the KDSS on them. When you do the Icon suspensions, man, they just handle great. Haven't wheeled one, but just road manners are awesome with it. But yeah, they're a bit on the stiff side, but it's like a nice kind of stiff. And it sounds like Richie might be backing his truck out. He's on his way back from Moab and stopped through here on the way to Boston, and him and Crash were buttoning it up while I came in here to do the chat. So if you guys don't mind, I'm gonna pop off here a few minutes early just to make sure he's good to go, because he's still got a hell of a drive to get back to Boston from here. So yeah, I'll catch you guys next Tuesday. Thanks for tuning in, and if you haven't already, subscribe below. And yeah, we'll see you next Tuesday. Thanks.